pretty good.
That was good.
That was good.
Right on cue.
Yeah. Thanks, Ashley, for that. Welcome, Chief, to Chatting with the Chief.
Appreciate it.
This is our second podcast. Couldn't think of anybody else that'd be good to come in on our second podcast. Would be the Chief that has all the experience with this, right?
No.
Yeah.
No, just a couple times.
Yeah. No.
Not a ton of experience.
Yeah. Good. Well, thank you for taking the opportunity this morning. I know you got a lot on your plate. It's a busy day. It's Monday here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it. Got a few things that think that be important for us to just throw out there and talk about.
Sure.
So we'll just get started with it.
Sounds good.
So first and foremost, tell our audience about Brian McNeeley, Chief Brian McNeeley.
Okay. Sure. So I am not originally from Clarksville. I guess you would call me a transplant. Grew up in Northeast Ohio. So moved here when Uncle Sam stationed me at Fort Campbell in 2000. We came, and have been here ever since. So
Nice.
I've been in Clarksville, Tennessee longer than I was in Ohio.
Okay.
Which is kind of crazy to think, but I still call Ohio home, but in reality, Tennessee's home.
Right. And so tell me about your parents too,
Sure.
right? Because that, we are our parents, right? And so I think that plays a lot into what you're doing today. So,
100%.
Yeah.
Yep. So my parents ended up moving down here as well, but they were both born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. My dad's grandparents immigrated from Ireland.
Okay.
So my dad's father was the firstborn in the United States. So that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
We, as a kid, we moved further out of Cleveland, out into the country. So I grew up out in the country in Ohio. Grew up with the Amish, so that kind of country.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was in the fire service for almost 30 years, so he's a firefighter paramedic.
Nice.
Retired, and then went to physician assistant school.
Nice.
And worked with Dr. Kent
Right.
at one of his businesses here in town. So,
Small world.
Yeah, very small.
Yep.
So my parents moved to Clarksville when Kelly, my wife, and I started our family.
Nice.
Not because they wanted to be close to us, but because they knew I was going to have kids.
Sure.
They wanted to be close to the grandkids.
Not you, but
we didn't move here for you, Brian. We came here for the girls.
Yeah.
They
Sure.
say that all the time.
Yes,
So,
understandable.
yeah.
So, and you have a brother?
I do. I have a brother, Eddie. He is a nurse in Chattanooga and a PACU nurse.
Phenomenal nurse, from what I understand.
Yeah, he's a great nurse.
Sharp on his ACLS algorithms.
Yeah, he is.
Rhythm interpretation.
He's a rhythm guy.
Yes.
You want to know about rhythms?
Phenomenal guy.
He knows it.
He knows it, yes.
Or he phones a friend who does.
Yes, but no, phenomenal guy. I've gotten a
Yep.
chance to meet him.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Missed
love
his
him.
calling, I think. I think he should have been a comedian.
Yeah, I think he should have been a stand-up comedian.
100%.
Because he is a character.
Yes, he is a character.
Yeah, everybody remembers Eddie.
Yeah. Cousin Eddie.
Cousin Eddie.
Right, yeah. Brother Eddie, cousin Eddie. It's good stuff. So, and you met your wife. She's not from here either, right?
Correct. No,
Yep.
she's from Oregon. So one of my first duty station when I got into the Army I was assigned to Fort Lewis, Washington, but stationed in Oregon at a real small chemical depot.
Okay.
And I got there in 98 and didn't know anybody. And a gentleman that worked on the depot as a civilian security guard went and took night classes. And he was in class with Kelly. And so I saw him during the day when he was working as a security guard, and he was seeing Kelly in classes, and, just got to know her and got to know me. He said, "You guys got to meet." And I was like, no, I'm just, I'm just here. Mm-hmm. And she said the same thing. And then he's like, no, you just got to meet. You got to meet. So I met her at college one day with him, just, for that mutual safety,
Sure.
and we had lunch there at the college, and that was it.
Rest is history.
Yeah.
Yeah, and y'all have got two lovely daughters.
We do. They are our world.
Sure, and there's a lot of new stuff going on with them as well too.
Yeah. So
care to share?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So two girls, Margaret, but we call her Maggie. She's 21 and just got married 2 weeks ago.
Nice, congratulations.
So her husband's name is Sean, and they are both students at MTSU, and he's in RTC. So when they graduate, he'll go into the Army and go wherever Uncle Sam tells him.
Yep.
And then our youngest, Moira, is 18, getting ready to graduate high school, and also go to MTSU through ROTC for nursing.
Nice.
So,
and what's Maggie looking to do now that she's on the cusp of graduating?
Correct.
Soon.
Yeah. She's not in the medical field, has no interest. Blood makes her knees wobble, is what she always has said. So she is getting a degree in public writing and rhetoric.
Okay.
So the gift of words, which she has always had.
Nice.
But I've read some of the things that she showed us for school, and she really does have a true gift with words.
Nice.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind, just touch just briefly on your Irish heritage.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I think you embrace that a lot, and I think some of that fire and energy that you bring to your work has some of that Irish heritage.
Yeah, probably a little of that hot-headedness.
I wasn't going to say
No,
that,
I'll say it.
No, it's okay.
I'll
but
say it.
I think it's cool, and I think you've been over there and visit. I mean, so that's
Yes.
cool stuff. If you don't mind, just touching on that just a little bit.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So absolutely. So my father's 100% Irish because all his parents were they didn't immigrate, but they were born of immigrants. So growing up, I always, I never knew anyone with an Irish accent per se. My father did. His grandparents had accents so thick that he could hardly understand them. So, but it was just very prevalent in my family. Big Irish Catholic family. My dad had 5 brothers. I had tons of cousins. It was just always present and just something that I remember as a kid kind of embracing. And then as I got older, that history and that heritage just was super cool and important to me. So it's just, for me, it's always been interesting to know kind of where you came from, what your name means, where did it come from, what's behind it, where did your family come from?
Right.
And we've been very blessed to be able to trace that back, not forever, but far enough to where I know the little town in Ireland where the McNeeley name kind of goes back as far as I know.
Right.
I had a great aunt in Cleveland who was a nun. And she had a great family tree written out for me and my girls, and she had copies of her parents' birth certificates that were handwritten in English and in Gaelic. So it's just pretty neat. My parents have been over several times. Yeah. We all went in 2018. Kelly and the girls and I, my brother, my parents, and went back to that small town and saw the cemetery with all the McNeelys that never immigrated. Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
It is absolutely pretty cool. And we just heard a little bit of your Irish accent earlier today, right? I mean, you're pretty thick on it.
It depends on the movie that I'm quoting.
Right. Most people probably don't know that about you too. Is
what's
that
that?
You're a movie buff. I mean, if there's a movie out there,
I relate everything to a movie, it seems like. Even when I was teaching in the classroom with the Awesome P program, I would always say, have you all ever seen that movie? Yeah. And relate it into, into the talk.
Yeah. So if anybody ever sees you out moving forward, they need to ask you about the movie Far and Away, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. You and Shannon have a phenomenal relationship.
Joseph
and Shannon. Yeah, they need to ask you about that.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll leave that to them
to
get with you next time they see you. That's cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your EMS history. What got you into EMS? What was the driving force to push you to making a career out of EMS?
Sure. So as a kid, I always grew up visiting my dad at the firehouse, and I was always just enamored and just in awe of going to the firehouse, seeing him leave on the engine, the pole that the firemen would slide down, hearing the tones, like that stuff was like, as a little kid, you're like,
it's firemen, right?
Right. Firemen.
Firemen.
Heroes.
Sure.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And Dad, in my eyes, and growing up, Dad was a hero.
Right.
Like that was what he did. So that was really cool. And then, so I always just knew I want to be a fireman paramedic is what I'd always said growing up, and joined the Army out of high school to get the experience on the medic side and the military experience, and then get out and transition into the public safety sector. So I did that here in Clarksville, and doing research on the fire department and medicine, I realized that it was grossly different down here than what I grew up in Ohio.
Okay.
Most of the departments in Ohio, firemen were paramedics. Paramedics were firemen, minus like the big cities, like Cleveland ran it a little different. But the department that my dad worked for, the fire department ran the ambulances, and there were paramedics and firemen on the ambulance. And then down here, it's very different. Most of the places are, EMS services are a standalone service like we are.
Right.
And the fire department does very basic medicine, whereas I wanted to progress in the medicine and be a paramedic. So that really just steered me down the road of emergency medical services. When I got out of the Army, I didn't know exactly where I wanted to work, so I got hired at Vanderbilt as a care partner, or like a CNA, nursing assistant care partner is what Vanderbilt called them, in a intensive care unit.
But I don't know if we touched on it or not a minute ago about your military background. So how long were you in for?
Okay.
What did you do in the military?
Okay.
Right?
Yep. So I got in 1996. I enlisted and got out in 2003.
Okay.
And I was a combat medic.
Nice.
Ended up here at Fort Campbell, got out from the 101st. So I was a combat medic in the Army, and during my time was a peacetime Army, right up until the point I got out. And I wanted to do medicine, and I didn't do a ton of medicine in the Army, just because it was peacetime.
But that's what you went into the military hoping
Yes.
to do was medicine.
Correct. Right. We did some medicine, but not the medicine I was looking for.
Right.
So I got out and and then started into paramedic school not long after I got out, because I had already been licensed as an EMT.
And you worked, like you said, you worked as a care partner at Vanderbilt
I
for
did,
a while.
just in that transition period until I got hired part-time here
Okay.
at Montgomery County.
Yeah. And you got hired on here when?
2003.
2003. And if memory serves me right, you did some of your training with me
I did.
back in the day.
I did.
Most people would think that's crazy, that they don't recall us ever being in those positions.
Right.
But we were at
It's
one point.
For some it's hard to fathom, because all they know is what we do now.
What we do now.
Yeah.
Right. But we were in that capacity years ago.
Yes.
You were one of those that came through, and we were able to mentor you, I guess was a word, but I don't know how much
You
mentoring.
showed me all
that
the
was.
Jedi tricks.
Right. We probably showed you what not to do, on all honesty. But
It's
we
different-
survived, right?
We did.
And
I
look where we're at
survived,
now.
and I was a better guy for it.
Look where we're
So,
at now, right? Who would have thought?
Yeah, I wouldn't have.
No, absolutely not. We were just tickled to be at work making calls.
Yeah, I was just trying to get my paramedic license and make calls and just have a full-time job.
Sure,
Because,
yeah.
when I started in 03, you didn't go right from hire to full-time. Like, it wasn't just, oh, you have a full-time job. I got hired in 03, and I didn't go full-time until the end of 2004.
Yeah, I was kind of the same way. I got hired in December of 1995, but it was by the grace of God that I got a position.
Right.
And you took what you could get, and I was ecstatic to know that I was a part-time employee here at this department. So proud that I'm almost positive that I took my EMS jacket and had it on a hanger and had it in the back seat of my truck.
Oh, yeah.
Where it could hang and people could see that I was an employee.
That's
here.
called flashing your tin. So my uncle used
Yeah.
to call it. He was a Cleveland fireman, and he'd always have his badge close and say, flash your tin, maybe get you out of a pinch.
Yeah, I was just ecstatic to be employed here. And it was almost, it was 2 years, I think, before I ever got the offer to be full-time.
Right, you had to wait?
Yeah, you had to wait. And when they said that they wanted you full-time, you were like, great, where do you want me and when do you want me to start?
Exactly.
And I was sent straight to Station 23 and transitioned from 23 to 24. And 24 to 20 and 22 is where I spent the rest of my career on the road. So, it part-time was a gift.
And you weren't working on the ambulance when you were part-time, typically. I did more time convalescent than I did on the ambulance.
Yeah, we were on the ambulance, but we walked in the door with a list on the wall a mile long of dialysis transfers, convalescent transfers waiting on us when we got there.
Right.
And if you were at the right place at the right time, if they needed help throughout the rest of the day or in the night or whatever they were looking for,
they'd call you.
They'd come in and say, "Can you stay over?" or whatever.
Right.
And we were fortunate. You were like,
"Oh yeah,
I get to get on a truck,
getting on a 911.
I get on a real truck." Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it was great. But it was. You were just ecstatic to be here doing the job and working for the department for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, it's been a long time ago.
Yeah, it has been.
It's been a long time ago. So I don't know if we touched on this or not, but was it because you were living in the communities why you chose to come here? Did you research other departments?
I did. I researched other. I was living in Clarksville, so I researched other counties. I wanted to be busy. I wanted to learn. And just looking at the small neighboring counties and their departments just seemed to be smaller, and this one seemed. It was in the town that I was living in, and they didn't really want to drive far.
Right.
And I knew it was a challenge to get hired at Nashville, just because it's such a big, you're competing with so many people.
Sure.
So I chose here.
Nice. So, been with the department now for 22 years?
Yeah. Yes.
Right at 22. Mm-hmm. So since you've been here, tell us about some of the positions you've held.
Okay. So like we talked about, I got hired as an EMT IV back in the day, part-time. Got hired while I was in paramedic school, full-time. So I finished paramedic school and became a road paramedic. Did that for a few years, and then tested and interviewed for the FTO job. So then I started my role as an FTO. I did that for several years until 2014. I made the transition into the office as the training officer. At the time, we only had one. So I did that for a couple of years and realized kind of while I was doing that, I enjoyed I love teaching. I still do, but I was very young into my career, and I missed the field. I just missed being with the crews. I missed making calls. I missed getting my hands dirty. And I looked and I thought, I don't want to be in the office for the rest of my career, because I had a long career ahead of me. So I was fortunate enough to be allowed to go back to the field as a shift lieutenant. So I was one of the shift lieutenants, and did that for a few years, and then became a shift captain in 2019. And did that until 2024 when I got promoted into this position.
Right.
You know, so minus like our new comms position and those other positions, but I've been fortunate enough to do be part of all the positions since I've started here, which I think gives me a pretty unique perspective on all the different things that we do. Because you know, it kind of keeps me humble, I think, to know where I came from, and that I've done that, and I remember what it's like being in those shoes. And it kind of grew me and molded me into, you know, who I am here at this department, because I've been able to see different ways done by different people in all those jobs and know, okay, I don't want to do it that way, but I want to do it this way.
Yeah, I think that makes you a better leader too, right? Is because you can say you've been there, you've done that, you've experienced it, you knew what worked, what didn't work, and it gave you the ability to make changes as you grew as a leader, to say, I knew this didn't work, so I have the ability now to make changes to where I believe it could work, function better operationally, so on and so forth.
It's a very unique opportunity to have been able to do all those. When I look back, you know, I had no idea at the time. I was just doing what I thought was the next best thing that I needed to do. But yeah, you're right. I think it's formed me into who I am here and given me that perspective.
If I can date myself a little bit, there weren't FTOs back when I had the ability, when I was still on the truck.
Right. When I was riding with you, there weren't FTOs.
There weren't FTOs. You just got students.
You were a paramedic, been around for a little while. Right. Here you're getting a student.
Well, on top of that, when you got hired as a new employee, there was no FTO process.
No.
You just got hired, did your orientation, and started on a truck.
Right. They said, oh, you got a license? Hey, we're going to put you on this ambulance. Just go make some calls.
Right. So the FTO portion of our department is great. It's
relatively young.
It's young, but I think it's hugely successful.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's a huge part of onboarding new employees. It has to be part of your department to make the transition from a new employee to learn our protocols, our processes, so on and so forth.
It keeps the patient safe. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Well, not on top of that too, is that you want to show the new employee that it's important for us as a department, as leaders, to set you up for success.
Yeah. And
I feel like not that they didn't set us up for success in the past. That's just what we knew in the past. And I'll be honest with you too. A lot of times, you just had the need and you didn't have the depth. So the two things: you didn't have the depth and you had the need. So you just jumped in the fire.
Just did it and learned.
That's right. But now that we have the ability to slow our roll, take our time, bring on a new employee, educate them for a week in the department before we set them out into the field for their field training all the time is
100% better. It just gives us a better product in patient care, employee satisfaction, all those things down the line it's just better because of that.
Yeah, I didn't have the opportunity to be an FTO. I was already in the field as a supervisor when the FTO program came along, so I didn't have that opportunity. So I never got to experience that from an employee standpoint. So that's good of you that you had that opportunity to experience it for sure.
I think so,
yeah. So since being with the department, has there been any changes? What are the changes you've seen?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I don't even know where to start the changes. We've talked about some of them, you know.
The FTO process.
FTO process was non-existent.
Right.
You know, we don't do convalescent calls. Excuse me. We don't do those anymore.
Nope.
You know, we used to do trips to Nashville daily.
Yes.
We had a Nashville rotation list, and you had a place in the list, and when it got to your turn, you went.
And sometimes twice.
Sometimes it got to your turn twice in 24 hours.
Right.
You know, so we don't do that anymore. Our call volume has just increased, you know, significantly from over the years. You know, but when I think back to like my first few days here at this department, we were on paper run tickets. And we had there was no MDT or CAD. You know, the dispatchers would call you on the radio and ask you where you were. So you had to know your location and then feed that back to them. And then they had to know the area to be able to, oh, yep, they're here, but there's a truck in-house. They're going to be closer. I mean, that was all the dispatcher. So we've changed to just technology, I think, is what would be the biggest change. From MDTs and the CAD system to every truck being a Wi-Fi hotspot and mapping every truck, transmitting 12 leads. You know, you have an app on your phone now where you can enter in your truck checkoff and request supplies. I mean, our supply room back in the day was at Station 20, and it was the cabinets against the wall, and you got what you needed when you needed it.
Right. That's accountability, right?
Right. You just drove up, got what you needed, and left. Like,
sure. And we were fortunate to have somebody in the department that would take it upon themselves to order it, restock it. But if you need it, you just open the cabinet and get it.
Right. I mean, to what we have now here at our facility, I mean, the logistics center and hub is it's always moving. So that's huge, you know. Tomorrow, radios, like huge.
You want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. But I mean, that's a change.
Sure.
You know, that's communication.
Yep.
You know, so tomorrow we're fortunate enough to be able to transition to the TAC-in network via the Motorola service platform, and I think it's going to change our lives. Communication-wise, just now, and what I've known historically is when you get in the back of the ambulance, you can't talk to anybody. With our radios that we've been using for years, certain parts of the county, doesn't matter what radio you're on, you're not talking to anybody. So just communication, I think, is, you know, we're working on a project to put message boards in stations to keep more communication flowing. So just technology. You know, medicine has changed too.
Oh, absolutely.
Things that we've implemented over the years, that video laryngoscopes. I mean,
I was going to say just that because it's been a while, but the last time I got in the back of a truck on a cardiac arrest, I happened to be at the CPR, at the head of the cot, and the paramedic handed me the video laryngoscope, and I was like, I don't want this. I just want the blade and a handle.
Just want to look.
I just need the blade and the handle. Don't you keep all that. They handed me that, the bougie. I don't need that. Just give me a 4 Mac and the handle, and I'm good to go. But no, you're exactly right. The technology and the equipment for sure.
I mean, Lucas device, little things like the Mega Mover. I mean, we use sheets for years, you know, and now we have like a tarp with handles. I mean, it's amazing.
Right.
Stair chairs, like little stuff like that we didn't. Power cots, rail systems. I mean, all those things that weren't there when we started, and it makes the job much more, I'm not going to say easy, but just much more tolerable as far as, you know, the difficult aspects that we knew, I think have become a little more palatable.
And it's almost like it goes kind of hand in hand with the increase in call volume, right? So just imagine if you were still using cots you had to lift on an increase in call volume, how many calls we're responding to now versus what we did then.
Right.
You know, you'd be wore out.
You'd be hurt.
Sure, 100%. And talking about change and things that we've seen over the past, I'd be remiss if we didn't at least acknowledge our communications IT department of right. How big is that?
Yeah.
That's huge.
That's a huge change, and I mean she's sitting right here next to me. And
right.
I say it on the daily, and I say it as many times as I can say it when I think about it. But I look around and I say, what would we do if we didn't have Ashley? And I say that with all sincerity because and the radio project being one of them. I looked in the bay the other day and I got a little nauseous because I thought, what? Yes. As Ashley's sitting there running, I'm like, what would we do if we didn't have Ashley?
Right.
And that made me nauseous because I would think about, oh my gosh, the amount of work that I wouldn't know how to do,
right?
Or that we wouldn't know how to do,
right?
That we'd be doing.
Sure, we would be doing it.
So,
and we've done it historically,
yes,
with the help of our IT department of the county. But Ashley brings the responsiveness to our needs. And when you're open 24/7, 365, you got to have quick response. Because you can't go down, right?
Right. Yeah. Her knowledge, just her depth, everything is saving us.
Thanks, Ashley. We appreciate it very much. And, you know, to tie into that, what we've seen is we've got a flourishing logistics department.
Yep. We do. We staffed coverage 24/7.
Yep.
And that historically was not there. Back in the day, you get your own, or when we had the logistics hubs, a lot of times we have coverage during the day, but then at night, we wouldn't.
Yep.
So supervisors would pinch hit.
Now, thanks to Norman and his vision to get his people on, essential staff, or
Right.
they're on 24/7.
Right.
Yeah, so that way the field leadership can do what they need to do.
Correct.
And let the staff get the supplies, because we know that there's two things in my mind our department has to be successful. That's a good education department and a logistics department.
Because you got to have people trained, and you got to have the supplies to take
do
care of
it,
patients.
right? And probably right behind those two departments is our fleet and facilities.
Yeah, that was the next
Sure.
thing on my mind.
Yeah.
Historically didn't have a fleet and facilities position. It was overtime for somebody to kind of manage the trucks
Right.
and get them through. But we've grown so much and are so busy. We've been fortunate enough to have two positions now.
Yes.
With Isaac Shute being our fleet and facility supervisor, and then Tyler Hayes being our assistant.
Yeah.
And those guys are golden.
Right.
Like, they just take it and they run, and they take care of the stations, the vehicles, and Isaac has just, I think, fully grasped his new job, his new role, and is doing amazing at it. And Tyler's just starting off; he's a go-getter.
Yep.
And just wanting to work here and be part of the team.
Yep.
And do the job.
Yeah, no doubt that those guys are the backbone of keeping us open on the road with our vehicles, the lights on in the buildings. And I'd like to give just a quick special shout out to Sean Arms.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The OG.
Sure. That's great. That's a great description of him, the OG.
Yeah.
He came to our department, kind of took that new position and ran with it, and set us up for success moving forward. And now he's doing what he really wanted to do all along, which was,
put the wet stuff on the red stuff.
become move over to the fire side.
Yeah, his heart's always been there.
And we've known that.
Yeah, but his heart is for helping, and he's always helped us. And
100%.
Continuing to help us.
Yes.
Even up until just a couple days ago, he's still doing work with us and helping us out.
Sure. So big changes that we've seen over the past 20 plus years.
Correct.
Yeah. So for sure. So let's talk about what are some of the things that you see as a leader here that the department is right in the middle of? I know we talked about the radio platform.
Okay.
What else are some big ticket items, big changes that you see that are ongoing currently in the department?
Sure. Radio being huge, and hopefully that's flipping the switch and we're not moving on to the next thing, but the hard part's done. Mm-hmm. When I think about big things coming, I think about personnel requests for the budget that we're planning for now. Trying to keep up with the call volume, trying to keep up with our plan to keep the busy trucks, or to flip the busy trucks from 24s to 12s. We know we need folks.
Yep.
And so we're asking for 11 field staff to just simply keep up with that, to keep the shifts staffed at par,
right.
To maintain that adequate coverage, but then also to flip the next two trucks.
Right.
So that's those 11. We want and know that we need to expand the training program, or the training department. So we're asking for 2 education officers, which is huge.
Right.
As big as we are, one person just can't do it.
No, that ratio is like 1 to 120 some road staff, right?
Yeah, we don't have room here. So we need more people. We need more room. Not to mention we're the host and helping run the basic, advanced, and paramedic program through Austin P.
Yep.
On top of training our 150 road staff. So just a lot of moving parts in that department. So those are definitely big needs. And then we've kind of pioneered a request to ask for a medical legal death investigator.
Yes.
Which is a first.
Yep.
And we're trying to get the first knocked out.
Well, I think that's
needed.
I think that's a sign of good leadership, right? Is identifying the need and just planting the seeds, right? Because if you don't do that,
5 years from now or 3 years from now, it won't come to fruition.
Nope, and you're still going to be behind the 8 ball.
Right.
You're still going to be, doing what we're supposed to do every day, but all of that additional duties and responsibilities tacked onto that, which take you away from your primary responsibilities.
Yeah.
And I think as a leadership group, we've all come to the table to make those determinations of what do we see our department needing for the future. And because these positions that we're looking for is a conversation that we've had collectively to decide on what is it that we need to do and ask for and plant the seeds for to be successful in the future.
Right.
the FTEs for sure, to continue the mindset of transitioning the department to 12-hour shifts, purely on a safety standpoint, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we know at a busy station, a 24-hour shift is a challenge, right? We saw that when we were on the truck years ago.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I was spent after 24 hours at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And our patients deserve
The same sharpness at 2 in the morning that we
2 in the
offer at
afternoon.
2 in the afternoon.
100%. And so that's our vision as a department, is continuing the transition to 12-hour shifts, and that will give us the Medics 20 and Medic 40 to transition to 12.
So the last two for now.
Sure, right. That'll have all of our inner city busiest trucks.
Flipped.
When I say busiest trucks, they're making over 10% of our call volumes, right? If not plus, more than that.
Correct.
And the beefing up our training division, and then going down the path of a death investigator.
Yeah, that's a huge part.
Yeah,
very needed.
Right.
It takes a lot of toll on folks.
Right.
To deal with the death and dying.
Sure.
On top of the stress of
taking
care of the living.
Right. Yeah. And there's a lot of taking care of the deceased too.
Right.
That most people don't see the behind the scenes of that.
Right.
And we also, I don't know if a lot of people don't know it or not, but we have the county morgue here.
Yes, on top of our logistics hub and all of our offices, we have the county morgue.
Right.
So
And I don't know about you, but they didn't
morgue.
teach me. They didn't teach me anything about running a morgue.
No.
Right. No. And that takes a lot of our time and energy too, that most people don't.
Yeah, you find yourself in scenarios you're like, I never imagined I'd be in this scenario now.
Right.
Having a viewing happening right now and having a religious ceremony in the morgue because it's time sensitive. So those are scenarios you don't know that you're going to get hit with.
Anything else going on in the department besides budget? We're going to budget hearings, and we're asking for all those things.
Capital projects,
buildings.
Yeah. So I don't know if you wanted me to touch on buildings. Is that what you're?
Well, I'm just saying that, we know we need to grow, right? And we've got some stations that we want to expand on
100%.
and increase in size. And we're fortunate enough that we're working on a new station 28 right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right?
It's amazing.
You want to talk about that just for a second?
Sure. Our current station 28 is on Boot Hill in the old Rescue Squad building.
Yeah.
And it's been a long overdue move to get our crews out of there. For a multitude of reasons, but this station is very old and needs a ton of TLC. So we were fortunate enough to secure the land on the former animal control site.
Yep.
So we were able to demo that building, and they're constructing it's going to be beautiful, a three bay station, enough for 2 ambulances and a supervisor for future growth.
Yep.
Right on Spring Street in the site of the old animal control building. So Ashley's office will be there overlooking the river with a nice window and view. I think it's going to be very nice. It's exciting to watch it come up from, to walk the old building and say this is where it's going to be, to now, you can start to see the shape of a building and know that it's going to start growing. That's pretty cool.
The block's been laid.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's my understanding footers are supposed to be dug, hopefully maybe this week, for the bay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So very blessed to have leadership in our county that see that and support that endeavor for us.
Huge need, and it's come to reality. So that's
the mayor,
big
the
blessing.
county commission, the mayor's department. Yeah, we're very fortunate. They see that need and support it for sure.
Yeah.
So yes, we have a lot of infrastructure that we want to tackle.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and those small bits at the pie, but we're making it. We're making it happen.
It's good stuff.
Doing what we can, with what we're able to do. If it's not this year, we'll come back to the table and ask for it again next year.
It's great stuff for
is.
sure. Talk a little bit about what we've got going on just in a couple of weeks too. You want to hit on EMS week?
Oh yeah, it's the annual time of year.
Yep.
It always slips my mind for some reason, but
how can that?
I don't. I mean,
mind?
It shouldn't. It
no,
shouldn't.
it
but
shouldn't.
We've had a lot of other things on the front of my mind.
Sure.
It doesn't click to me that it's almost May.
Yeah.
So at the end of May, the 20th, 21st, and 22nd, during that week of National EMS Week, we always host a large lunch gathering here for the crews, but also for other public safety folks, hospital folks we invite. That's pretty legendary barbecuing that happens. Chickens and legendary.
Yes.
People come from all over asking, when is the bologna going to be done, and when's the chicken going to be done?
Well, and the other question that everybody asks too, right?
Who's cooking?
Who's cooking?
Right, and that's a simple answer,
Right.
Very simple answer, and you don't have to ask the question, but it's always the illustrious, the one and the only, the man, the myth, the legend,
Right.
Jimmy Edwards.
Yeah. And then the back and forth between him and Captain Haas.
Yeah, the one way of doing things, and then you got the old way, the old breed, and then you got the newer, like, I don't know about that, Chief. Maybe we should do it like this.
Right.
Yeah.
Until Captain Haas gets put in his place, and then he just goes back and sits down again.
Right. He tries. he continually tries.
It's so good to watch.
It's fun, but it's a great. I always look forward to that week, but then the 3 days that we're able to hang out, because it's just a lot of fellowship, food, fellowship, visiting as crews come through. And just, I don't know, just family time is kind of what it feels like.
And you mentioned that the other services in our community attend that too, right?
Absolutely. So First Call, some of our partners in the community, First Call and Vanderbilt Ground and AirEvac and Vanderbilt Life Flight, they come in, helicopters will land, the crews will come eat. I mean, it's a family event in the pre-hospital emergency medicine setting.
It's EMS week, right? I mean, we want to come together and celebrate each other.
Yeah.
And we can't thank Vanderbilt enough, AirEvac enough, Vanderbilt Clarksville enough, all of our parts, Skyline, HCA.
Everybody contributes. And this is a joint, it's not just us, it's a joint effort. Everybody contributes
Ascension.
Something, and it's very appreciated, because
Yes.
without everyone contributing something, I'm not sure we alone, would be able to do it all financially or resources. But yeah.
It's good seeing everybody too.
It is.
It's just fellowship.
It is. It's a fun week, a lot of razzing, a lot of giving each other hard times, but just having fun and fellowship.
And we invite our fellow police department, sheriff's department,
fire
dispatch.
department. Yep. We invite those leaders to come and eat with us, and county commissioners. I mean, county leadership.
Sure.
Yeah, just
city mayor and his department.
Just food and fellowship.
Right. Celebrate the men and women of the profession.
Right.
That so deservedly need. Right.
It's just a little something that we can do.
Sure. So, as a senior leader here in the department, talk about some of the things that you envision. What is it? Some of the things you want to accomplish, right?
Sure. So I think we say it often, but when you think about objectives or goals, I think first and foremost, the all encompassing statement would be, I want to leave it better than I found it. I think if you keep that mindset, it's going to be a win. I really think about kind of like personnel and staffing, and then operational kind of things. One of the things that we mentioned it earlier, but making sure that our staff is safe. And I think one of the best ways that we can do that is continuing that transition to 12-hour shifts. Mm-hmm. We know that, you could work a 24/96, that's great. I mean, if somebody can do that, but at the end of the day, you're still working a 24-hour shift.
Right.
So we know that 12 hours is the progression of where we want to head as a department. And I think continuing that momentum as stations uptick in call volume and we get close to that threshold that we've kind of used historically, that we continue that. Mm-hmm. So, I think that goes along with employee satisfaction, crew safety, patient safety, all those things. So that would be the first and foremost thing, I think, with staffing. We've been very fortunate in the last few years that is a first in the department, at least maybe not forever, but for a long period of time in my memory where we haven't had vacancies.
Right.
And I think what we're doing with the 12 hours being an example is testament to that we've had no vacancies. We've been full, which is mind-blowing to me, because historically we've known for years. We had 10 plus vacancies. We just couldn't fill.
Right.
But that's not the case anymore.
Well, and I think that's, I think a lot of that has to do too with growing your own. The previous leadership kind of saw that.
Yeah, laid the groundwork.
Right, laid the groundwork for sure, and we're reaping the benefits of that now,
Right.
and we're very fortunate not have to. And when we do have vacancies, we've got applicants to fill them.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So the AEMT, or the basic AEMT and paramedic programs are huge. So that goes hand in hand with, like you said, with that 12-hour shift staffing, like having our own grown and enticing people to work here with those, those types of programs, I think has to continue, so we don't get stagnant.
Right, and I think for people that may not know is that we as a leadership group decided to even pay from start to finish the paramedic tuition, which historically they got a $5,000 check to support their educational endeavors,
Right.
but we just decided, listen, as a leadership group, let's advocate to get their whole tuition paid. Now, keep in mind they have to give us a couple years in return,
right?
Which I think is a small price when
that's a great gig.
When they don't have to pay predominantly
thousands,
any money out of pocket to get their education for sure.
So that's huge.
Yes,
that's huge.
Absolutely.
So we were talking about goals and objectives.
Yes.
So that I think the 12-hour shift, continuing those programs to feed the funnel. So we continue to get folks. And then, when I think about technology and operational things that we could benefit from in the field, and I know everyone gives me a hard time for saying it all the time, but I see scenarios, I wouldn't say daily, but probably weekly, that we would benefit if staff had a body-worn camera. So I think in addition to that, we've talked about it briefly too, but some kind of dash cam that is a forward-facing dash cam to just to record. It really, in both of those, in my mind, is not because, contrary to popular belief, I don't go looking for problems.
You don't have the time.
I don't have the time. No. Like, I don't go looking for problems. They just land on my desk. And I've said that for years. But we encounter issues on the daily, and being able to protect our staff and say, yeah, that's 100% false, because we come on in and we'll watch the footage, and it shows our staff doing the right thing. I just think that's hard to put a value on.
Right.
So I would love at some point in the future to see us transition to implementing body-worn cameras for our field staff.
Nice.
And that vehicle camera too.
Any other big ticket items that you think are on your radar? That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Sure.
That piece. And there's, with the implementation of AI, there's so many features that that body-worn cameras can offer when it comes to documenting and charting, and it's just it's a big world.
Sure.
Of technology, and I think those options provide a lot for us.
Yes, absolutely. So let's go back just real briefly to the FTO process.
Okay.
We as a leadership group, and I say we, myself, Chief Harris, and yourself, we try to step in while the new hires are here for a week, just to introduce ourselves, and kind of get to know them and let them get to know us. And you have a sermon, is what I call it, that you give to all of those new hires about how some just tidbits of information on how to be successful.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind, I'd love for you to share that with the audience of the sermon, of what you tell them, that if they abide by those few key points, that there should be no reason why they can't be successful.
Sure. It kind of just started. I failed this last new hire group with Tanner and Charlotte. I didn't get in there to meet them while they were in orientation, and I felt bad. I've since met both of them.
Yes.
And Tanner came up and introduced himself to me. So I said, "Man, good on you."
It's a failure.
And I failed.
Failure, right?
I apologize.
I did at least step in.
Yeah.
And I told him I'd get back with him, but I never did.
Yeah. So I failed on that group. But I've met them both. And, but yeah, so I don't know what started it. I think just talking to some new hire groups repeatedly, I'm like, I'm going to put some notes down, because I just feel like I go in there and just yammer, And then I just sat and thought for a minute, what would I have wanted to know in 2003 when I came and one of the chiefs sat down in a room with me and said, here's your keys to success. Wow, that would have been great. Not that I know it all, but most of the things I talk about in the sermon are things that areas that I've messed up on, and that I've learned over the years. Okay, here's what you need to do better. One of the topics: be flexible with your patients, flexible with your partners, with other staff, with other providers at other institutions. Just be flexible. Like, we have to be flexible as pre-hospital providers, because it's all over the map in what we do. I think know that you don't know everything. I know when I got out of paramedic school, I thought I had it wrapped. Like, I got this. I've been through paramedic school, and Jimmy Edwards was my instructor. Like, what don't I know?
Sure.
But I quickly realized that I didn't know a lot of things.
Right. That's that be the sponge piece, right?
Be the sponge, and I've used that over the years. Just saying it, like, just be the sponge, absorb it all, and then at the end of the day, wring out what you don't want and keep what you got. Because you're gonna meet people that are great providers great humans that you want to emulate as both a human and a provider. You want to keep those attributes, but then you're also going to meet people in medicine, not just here but anywhere, they have no business being in medicine, and you just wring that out and forget about it.
Because we're in the people business, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we're in a people business.
100 and there's no percent. It's yes,
and we're
everything
is
is people,
and we're in a people business at their worst time.
right?
It's not like we're in a people business where you come through the drive-through and you order
You're hosting a party where everybody's happy.
That, or you're ordering a number one extra large with a Coke.
Yeah.
Right. We're in a people business when people need us the most.
Right. So it's just you just have to remember that. And going hand in hand with that is treat every patient like they're your family. I mean, no doubt there's patients that are frustrating, that belittle us, that demean us, and they test every fiber of your patience in your being. And sometimes you just got to walk away. And we're human. Sometimes you lose your cool. Like I've done it, But if you think about when you get out of the truck and you're super frustrated about being there, and you think, well, what if this was my mom or my dad or my aunt, whoever, how would I want them to be treated? That usually reality checks you, and you check yourself. Don't be a chameleon. I've seen providers over the years, they change how they are and who they are based on their partner. And that, just be yourself. Like, be true to who you are. And I know you say that to the new hires. Be true to yourself.
Be your own person.
Be your own person. Like, I'm fairly confident that everybody knows what the right thing to do is in whatever scenario we're talking about. Pretty sure that as a human, you know what the right thing to do is. You have to make the choice to take that hard right over the easy wrong. Don't be a chameleon.
Right.
Do the right thing, no matter who's looking or who's not looking.
Sure.
Just do the right thing.
I've told them a lot of times too, is that, I know at 3:00 in the morning, that 12th call or whatever call that is for the day. And that's, again, going back to the 24-hour rotation.
Yeah.
That 3:00 in the morning call is a struggle at times.
Yeah.
And I've been there, that I just didn't have my happy face on, right? Knowing I was getting up again after just laying down, heading to a call. But I felt like, though, when I crossed the threshold or when I made contact,
His game face.
you couldn't see me in that way, because then I felt like I lost all credibility. Right.
Yeah.
And I want to at least show the empathy and the compassion and the sympathy for the whole reason why I signed up to do what I signed up to do.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, there were mornings that it was a struggle.
Yeah.
But I felt like, though, when I crossed the threshold or made patient contact or family contact, that you never could have told I was having a bad morning or a bad day.
Right.
But I wholeheartedly believe that people, I'm not naive to think that people don't have bad days, bad nights.
Yeah.
That the monotony happens, as busy as we are, right? That's one thing.
Yeah.
That's one thing we tell new people too, is that we can control a lot of things, right? But the one thing we can't control
how many times tones drop.
I can't.
You're gonna go.
That's right.
They're gonna drop, and you're gonna go. That's what we do.
That's right.
Yeah, you could probably read my face over the years and know that, because you could read my face like a book. So there are probably patients I know that looked at my face and was like, "Oh, he's having a bad day." But I just try to remember that now.
And not only that, now is that people can reach out to us and show us that our providers are having a bad day.
From Ring cameras to in-house cameras to phone videos,
because they're out everywhere.
Yeah, we're under. I don't say we're under the microscope, but we are. People are viewing us in a different light than what they did 15 years ago.
Right, and so that kind of supports the evidence of trying to wear body-worn cameras, is that it takes away the he said, she said.
It shows the story, not a side of the story. It shows the story.
Yeah.
Because right now it's just he said, she said.
Right.
I talk about public safety. Something my dad always told me is that he said, Brian, public safety breeds complacency, and you have to combat that, because a lot of folks get in the job like, all right, I'm on cruise until 30 years because I'm in the system, and medicine is not that system. Like, medicine's changing. You have to stay abreast of it. You have to stay, sharp, because what we're doing today, we're not going to do 5 years from now. And then one of the last things I talk about is career stress. And I use a scenario that when Kelly and I first got married, my Uncle John and my Aunt Patty took her and I to dinner. And they had been married for a long time and had some rocky parts of their marriage. And one of the things that my uncle said was, marriage is a rewarding struggle. And I was like, oh, wow, kind of hit me. I was like, a rewarding struggle. Like I thought marriage was like the best thing ever, and it is. But I kind of equate marriage, that statement, marriage being a rewarding struggle, to our career, because it's not all rainbows and unicorns and lollipops.
No,
It at times is a struggle. There's great days, but there's also some bad days, and you really have to take care of yourself to make sure that if it's the career, your career that you want to do for 20, 30 years, that you're healthy enough to do it at the end.
Yeah.
And you have outlets. You have healthy outlets from work. You know?
Yeah, so that brings me right into my next thought is, what does Chief McNeeley do, or what did he do during those off days to keep his mind right, his health and well-being right? What did you do? What would you suggest? What are we fortunate enough now to take advantage of as an employee? Give us some information about that.
So I've always enjoyed being active. And, that's over the years, there's been a multitude of different things, from running to rucking to CrossFit to working outside to splitting wood, like just having a health. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
That just does not sound enjoyable to me.
I know.
But,
it's exercise.
Sure.
Funny story that when Jimmy Edwards was chief and I was heavily involved in exercising, he said, exercise will kill you. And I said, oh, really? He said, yeah, I'll tell you why. Yeah. He said, you take 10,000 people that are going to run a marathon and you line them all up and you look at them and somebody is going to drop dead during that marathon. He said, but if you take 10,000 rednecks and you line them up and you give them a cigarette and a beer, they're all going to drink that beer and smoke that cigarette, and not a single one of them is going to drop dead.
Right. A better lab work. Than most
that was
wow.
All I could do was shake my head.
That's what you took away from all of the Jimmy Edwards
No,
educational
Lord.
pieces?
He's going to hear that and be like,
he's going to kill you.
McNeeley.
Yeah, he's going to get
That's
you.
the best you got? It's a funny story.
Well, of course it is.
I learned a lot from the man.
Sure. Right.
More than I could put into this podcast.
Right.
But that just on the topic of exercise. A healthy outlet, being active. Not that video games aren't healthy, but something that you're moving, something that keeps your mind and your heart healthy. Because we're in a career that doesn't bode well for health. Right. Like our sleep gets messed up. Our eating habits are messed up. We turn sometimes to unhealthy habits and smoking, drinking, lots of caffeine. I'm guilty of that, but
thank goodness for Monsters and C4s.
Yeah, C4s.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but those having a healthy outlet,
right,
and having good relationships.
Yeah.
That I think whether that's a spouse, a friend, a church family, somebody that a group of people that you can turn to that make you want to be a better person.
Right.
And I think that's the key.
Yeah, our support system at work and at home are huge.
Yeah.
And that's probably where we need to give a shout out to our families at home, right? That bear the brunt end of a long 12 or a 24-hour shift, seen the worst of the worst, dealt with the worst of the worst, touched, smelt, just whatever we've done when it comes to somebody's bad day. And then we come home, and it's honest, right?
It's honest.
You can't leave it at work. I don't care what anybody says.
I tried for years.
You just can't leave that at work.
Not successful for a lot of years.
Yeah, somebody real smart told me a long time ago is you can't unsee it.
No. Right?
You can't unsee it. So we bring that home, and then our families have had to endure some of that. Yeah. And I know mine just left me alone, right? They knew, but they were very supportive, but they just kind of left me alone, let me deal with it. Yeah. They were there to listen to me if I wanted to talk about it. But if it had not been for them, it would have been a bigger challenge for sure.
Yeah, we had kind of developed over the years as I had those days. Kelly would say, do you need a timeout? Like, but she'd be like, go do whatever. Just go.
Right.
Just do whatever you want to do. You want to go get on the tractor and work just go have your outlet, because it's just, I come home and say it's one of those days.
Right. And now our department has our own
peer
support group along with our health and wellness coordinator, Nicole.
Yeah, it's a huge resource that again, that's one of the big changes that we didn't have 20 years ago, and it was new, but it has taken off and hit the ground running, and they are in the program itself is doing great things.
Right. So this, again, to be reiterated to all of our staff members, or if you're another provider in another department listening to this, is it lean on somebody. We have our peer support team here that our department can lean on don't hesitate.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
If you've got one of your benefits through the county is peer support employee assistance, don't wait.
Yeah, there's a lot of resources available.
Yep, absolutely. Don't let it fester to the point where there's no coming back.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
So we'll start wrapping things up here.
Okay.
Just tell, is there anything out there that we haven't talked about you feel is important to talk about? And I'm putting you on the spot. If there's not, we've talked about a lot.
We've covered a lot of bases.
Sure. Is there anything that I'm missing that you wanted to make sure that you touched on here?
Not
Okay.
that I can think about.
Is there anything out there that you feel like the listeners or employees don't know about you that you feel like you'd want them to know?
I would want them to know.
Sure.
Yeah. So I got home in prep for this, and I asked Kelly and the girls, I'm like, what's something that
be surprised to know about?
Yeah,
Chief
that people
McNeeley.
wouldn't know about, and they started. I'm like, no, everybody knows that. They know I'm a girl dad.
Okay.
They know that I love my wife and my daughters more than anything. That's common knowledge. They know I love movies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If I had to pick, I would say that, people see a work side of me that is most of the time pretty serious, not that I'm a dictator or anything, but, kind of serious. But I think the thing that maybe some people don't know is that I love to have a good time. I love to joke. I love to kid. I love to laugh. And I love to cut up, and I don't typically do that a lot at work.
Right.
But I truly enjoy those types of scenarios and environments, and I really do have emotions, other than just anger, or the disappointed dad look. I promise I have emotions, and I think, not that I'm an emotional person, but having those emotions, I think I can point that to that I care, about what I do. I care about the people I work with. I'm very passionate about it, and sometimes that can get misinterpreted, but I care, and I do, and I care about everybody here, and want the best for each and every person at the department.
Sure.
And that passion is what drives that.
And I think that's what we think about every time that we sit at the table to make a decision about the department is driven by two things, I think. One is the patients that we serve and the employees of this department that we are really here to support, because if we support them well, the patients will be taken care of at the end of the day.
Yep. And that, going back to Jimmy Edwards, one of the things that I remember him saying is, you take excellent care of patients and we take excellent care of the staff. And that's everything we do falls into those two categories.
Yeah.
Everything.
Sure.
And I think if we remember that, we're spot on.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you wholeheartedly. Well, I appreciate the time this morning. I know we got a lot on our plate, a lot of things going on, but I'm excited about this podcast. I'm excited to sit down with our employees to get to know them.
That's great.
Yeah, I think so too. I hope that our listeners get something out of it. But I'm just glad to have it. Glad you spent the morning with me.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely appreciate it.
And listening to my sermon.
Well, I appreciate it very much, Chief.
Thanks,
Thank
Chief.
you, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.